There's just 3 of us today.
Live from El Paso County, Texas, the veterans' capital of the USA. From inside the Alicia Chacon Commissioner's Courtroom of the Enrique Moreno County Courthouse, you are watching the El Paso County Commissioner's Court meeting.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Monday, July 14th, 2025. Commissioner's Court is meeting in regular open session. This morning we're joined by ASL interpreters Tamara Marquez and Selena Salum. Commissioner Holguin, would you like to introduce this morning's pledge group?
Yes, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. So one of the best things about summer, I think, is that we're blessed to have so many interns spending the summer here with us at the county. So today we're going to be led in the pledge by one of our communications interns, Irma Gomez. Is Irma here? There she is. Hey, Irma, don't be shy. Come on up. Come on up. Welcome. We're glad to have you here with us.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Irma.
Item number 3, invocation. This morning we'll receive an invocation from Pastor Michael Grady, Senior Pastor at Prince of Peace Christian Fellowship.
Welcome, Pastor Grady. Always great to have you here.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. It's good to be here with you again, and we're so grateful. So many things are happening in this season that we need to pray about. So let's bow our heads for a moment. Eternal Father, we thank you for the privilege of choosing us in this season for such a time as this. We thank you for the judge and the commissioners who rule well. We pray that you would allow us to experience your presence on today and that we'll leave here better than we arrived. Be glorified. Show yourself once again strong and mighty. Continue to unite us at one purpose, one Lord, one faith, and one baptism for your glory, for your honor, even for your praise. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor.
Judge, do you have some opening remarks for us this morning?
Thank you so much. Always very appreciative of Pastor Grady. We're getting ready for the 6th anniversary, believe it or not, of the our Walmart tragedy, and he's always such a big part of that. It's hard to have anything related to the Walmart and the memorial and the healing garden without having him. So just want to thank you all for being here. On behalf of myself, we have Commissioner Stout, Commissioner Butler will not be here with us, but on behalf of our commissioners and myself, thank you for being here. Just want a big shout out for, I was able to work with Roger Argenis, who was a Grammy Award winner, and he had been collecting items for Ruidoso and had the opportunity to take the items to Ruidoso, and I can tell you El Paso showed up again. I mean, there was water and everything that you could think of. We were able to distribute to a lot of devastated areas, a lot of people losing their homes completely and trying to survive. They hadn't gotten some assessments on the FEMA, and they were waiting to get an assessment on the previous one, and then when this happens, it's going to be very difficult for them. So continue. We're very blessed as a community to know that when we identify a situation, we're there. So very proud of El Paso, so thank you. And to all of you, thank you for being here. We really appreciate you being here at Commissioner's Court and hoping that you have a wonderful Monday and a very blessed week. So thank you. Cesar?
Thank you, sir. Item number 4 is the consent agenda composed of items 4A through 4P. Are there any items that members of the court or the public would like to pull for individual discussion from consent?
I keep looking to my right. I'll move to approve, Caesar. Or it's already been, yeah.
We have a motion from Judge Samaniego and a second from Commissioner Holguín. The voting is open.
My name's coming up, I vote aye.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Stout and Commissioner Butler are absent. The motion carries. Item number 5A from resolutions. Approve and adopt a resolution recognizing and celebrating the 20th anniversary of the Ambrosio Guillén Texas State Veterans Home in El Paso County, Texas.
You want to go ahead and come up? Yeah. Come up. Well, another special resolution that really helps us to establish ourselves as the Veterans Capital of the USA. I tell everybody they're like little pillars, and we have to be doing such great things, and you'll see that this is one more great thing El Paso does, and they go beyond when it's been 3 years now since we proclaimed being the Veterans Capital. Very, very proud, but as I've always said, I think we're always the Veterans Capital. We just figure a way how to make sure that the rest of the world knew that we are, and you'll see in this resolution one more reason why we are the Veterans Capital. Whereas the Ambrosio Guillén Texas State Veterans Home opened its doors in El Paso, Texas in 2005, providing high-quality, long-term care and specialized services to our nation's heroes. Whereas the facility was named in honor of Staff Sergeant Ambrosio Guillén, a native of El Paso and a United States Marine who received the Medal of Honor for his extraordinary bravery and leadership during the Korean War. And whereas for the past 20 years, the Ambrosio Guillén Texas State Veterans Home has served as a place of compassion, dignity, and respect for veterans, their spouses, and Gold Star parents, offering professional skilled nursing, memory care, rehabilitation, and other essential services. Whereas the home stands as a beacon of excellence and commitment with a dedicated staff who continue to uphold the highest standards in elder care while preserving the legacy of military service and sacrifice. Whereas the Texas Veterans Land Board, in partnership with local and federal agencies, continues to invest in improvements and modernization efforts, ensuring that this facility remains a cornerstone of veteran care in West Texas. Whereas the Ambrosio Guillén Texas State Veterans Home has become an enduring symbol of El Paso County's gratitude to those who served, honoring the contributions of thousands of veterans and their families over 2 decades of operation. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the El Paso County Judge and Commissioners Court hereby recognizes and celebrates the 20th anniversary of the Ambrosio Guillén Texas State Veterans Home and commends its leadership, staff, and supporters for their unwavering service to our veteran community. Signed this 14th day of July, 2025.
Thank you.
We have a motion from Judge Samaniego, a second from Commissioner Holguín. The voting is open. And Commissioner Stout and Commissioner Butler are absent. The motion carries.
Thank you. Tell
Thank
us a
you.
little bit so that our community knows what we should know already.
Absolutely, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners Court. Good morning, Judge Samaniego. My name is Dee Dee Williams Stewart. I am a 21-year veteran, Army veteran, a two-time Iraq War combat veteran, and I proudly serve as the on-site representative for the Ambrosio Guillén Texas State Veteran Home on behalf of the Texas Veterans Land Board. It is my sincere honor to accept this recognition commemorating the 20th year anniversary. And this resolution is not just a milestone, it is a testament to the unwavering commitment of Commissioner Don Buckingham, whose leadership and vision continue to elevate the standard of care for Texas veterans. Her advocacy ensures that those who've worn the uniform are treated with dignity and that they have earned that dignity, so they should be treated with that. It is also a moment to recognize the tireless efforts of leadership and staff at the Ambrosio Guillén Texas State Veteran Home, Every day, they answer the call of service, not with fanfare, but with quiet resolve, compassion, and grit. They provide more than care. They provide connection, community, and honor to those who have sacrificed for our freedom. So to the family, the caregivers, and veterans who call Ambrosio Guillen Texas State Veteran home, their stories shape our legacy and inspire us to keep striving towards excellence. So thank you, Paso County, for seeing the value of this work and for making sure that there's a space to celebrate it publicly. It is truly a privilege and an honor to accept this resolution today. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, our emblem has a female in the middle, and we're so proud of that because for some time we weren't aware of their contributions, but like in your case, that you've done so much, and so we feel we had been dismissive to women, and now, as you could see, if you go to the lobby, you'll see one end of all the incredible women that have served. And I always have to say, every single woman that ever served was a volunteer, because no woman ever got drafted. And so every single woman that you'll ever meet that was a veteran was on her own, volunteer. So we thank you for your service. Is there anyone else? Tony, you want to say a few words? Thank you, Tony.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. Antoinette Hunt, Veteran County Service Officer. I just want to thank Dee Dee and her staff. If you've never been to Ambrosio Guillen, it is one of the cleanest, most pristine, and just dignified places, and it really is a testament to the legacy of Staff Sergeant Guillen and the spirit of El Paso. We want to congratulate them on 2 decades of service and many more to follow.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I know Debo was going to be here. I don't know if she made it or not, but.
I believe she's volunteering somewhere else this morning.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And you want to go ahead and we'll take some pictures too.
This right here.
Item number 6 is public comment. We have 3 speakers for public comment this morning. I'd like to start with Ms. Elizabeth Crawford.
Do you mind start with Monica, please?
Okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
because they're here in the audience, and that way we don't
Yes,
hold
sir.
them back.
We'll hear from Ms. Monica Acevedo first.
Yes, thank you. Welcome, Monica. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, Commissioners Court, Judge Samaniego. With me is Cinta de Oro Jr. My name is Monica Acevedo, and I work with Cinta de Oro Promotions as well as the Boys and Girls Clubs of El Paso. And for those that don't know, there is only one brick and mortar building left in the city for the Boys and Girls Clubs of El Paso. That building is from 1929. It is housed right here in El Segundo Barrio, and it needs a lot of work. When we started this initiative to help and give back to our community, to the Segundo Barrio for the kids, it was like early December and they had no heater. We were literal parkas because it was so cold in that building. And then we started the initiative of hosting a monthly lucha to raise money for the kids. And they have been so successful. The community has come out. We've sold them out. It's been amazing. And with all of this, we wanted to do a festival outdoors to create an annual event for the kids. And what started off as maybe a smaller festival has turned into this monumental, epic event because we had the opportunity to get El Hijo del Santo. He is currently on his international farewell tour. And Juarez, our sister city, had the opportunity to nail him down for a show out there, but it didn't happen, and we ended up getting him. So we are hoping to host it at Ascarate Park coming up on September the 6th. 100% of the proceeds will benefit the Boys and Girls Clubs of El Paso. Since we started our monthly lucha initiative, we've been able to fix the AC and the heater. So yay us, we're not sweating up a storm in there. But we've had such a great response from the community. And of course, this is all to help the children, the disadvantaged children in Segundo Barrio, and our community, and everybody has come out to step out. I do have Cinta de Oro Jr., as Cinta de Oro Senior right now is out of town, but he is going to also be making his Lucha Libre debut at the event with El Santo, who is coming to El Paso. And it's such an amazing experience, not only for what we are doing for the kids, but for our community, because this is Lucha Libre royalty literally coming to our city. So we thank you. Thank you for getting behind this. We urge everybody to come out. Tickets are general admission is going to be super less than $20, so everybody can come and join us. Cinta Jr.?
Thank you.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioner. I would just like to thank the City of El Paso and the El Paso County for their support with us for the luchas. And the Boys and Girls Club, they do amazing work. I've seen it myself. They've helped kids. My father, he was one of the kids that used to go to that building in Segundo Barrio when he just had dreams of rest and glory. So thank you, and have a good morning.
And thank you. This is pretty amazing. This is El Santo. This is it originated, Lucha Libre. They did a better job of promoting it elsewhere, but it actually originated here in El Paso. So looking forward to that. And they'll be coming back to the agenda so that we could vote on it. So Monica, Cinta Jr., thank you so much for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Excuse us.
Hello, Commissioner Butler. I see you're on.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Sorry I can't be there with you today.
Thank you. But thank you for joining us. Go ahead, Caesar.
Okay. Do we have Ms. Crawford on?
Go ahead, Ms. Crawford.
Okay. We have Ms. Elizabeth
Good
Crawford.
morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning. Thank you. Good morning. There is much debate in Texas regarding the Ten Commandments in the public school classrooms. The first two commandments seem offensive to many. Exodus 20, the first two of the Ten Commandments from God's holy word. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them nor serve them. 2 weeks ago, I went into Juarez with my friend Malloy. She took me to the indoor marketplace there. Almost every single business in that marketplace had a skeleton figurine displayed to Santa Muerte. Right near the exit, we saw a massive skeleton statue of Santa Muerte. My friends have been telling me about it, and I did some research online. I was shocked to read that Santa Muerte is the fastest growing new religious movement in the Americas, even in the world, some people are saying. The fastest growing new religion in the world. As we know, it's not only all over Juarez, it's all over El Paso, and not just in the narco culture, but throughout the mainstream culture now, the symbol of the skeleton. When people choose to reject the God of the Bible and worship Saint Death, Mother Death, there are consequences. The borderplex, Juarez, El Paso, Las Cruces corridor is full of drug trafficking, human trafficking, and the abortion cartel. Of course, the worst is the eternal, irreversible consequences of dying in these lifestyles. Yet that is often also preceded by the tangible physical consequences of violence and often early physical death. We are warned in God's holy word, for the wages of sin is death. But thank God that there is hope found not in the fastest growing new religion in the world, Santa Muerte, but in the most rejected person in the world, the Lord Jesus Christ of the Bible, the one who is crucified on Mount Calvary, Mount Golgotha, the place of the skull, who conquered the enemy, Satan, who crushed his head and rose again in victory. For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord. Thank you so much, and hope you have a really good day. Thank you.
You too, Elizabeth. Have a good day.
Next, we have Commissioner Sergio Coronado.
Judge, Commissioner, thank you. Judge, I just want to give a shout out and commendation to Tony Hunt during the July 4th. That she really went out and a lot of work that she did for the Veterans Parade. I mean, the July 4th Parade for the veterans. And so really very, very appreciative of all the work she did. I know they all worked hard, but just wanted to give a shout out to her during this time. And also another shout out to our Public Works Department, Norma Fernie. Overnight, Canutillo, yesterday evening, Canutillo had hail out of the blue. We had hail. But overnight it rained, and thankfully not a whole lot of flooding, but there was, some of the flooding was contained to some areas, and so early this morning they've started out to dewater those areas. So, they're really on top of things, and I want to be very, very appreciative of the work they're doing. So, thank you.
And thank you, Commissioner. Thank you for recognizing their hard work. Thank you. Thank you, Norma.
Do we have anybody else that would like to speak in public comment? That concludes public comment. We'll move to item number 7A from the regular agenda, receive a presentation from Crime Stoppers.
Welcome. I know
morning,
you're
Judge and
gonna miss one person that was always 100%. Commissioner Leon was always a great supporter, and obviously we had a lot of trust in his experience. So I know that we learned a lot from what he thinks of Crime Stoppers. So go ahead.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Roger. I am one of the coordinators from Crime Stoppers of El Paso. And next to me is our board president, Eric. So we're going to go ahead and start. Give me just a second. Let me get myself familiar. Okay, so of course, I'm not sure if you guys know who Crime Stoppers is. I'm sure you guys are familiar with us, but we're a nonprofit organization that partners up with like the community, the media, and law enforcement to fight crime. Since 1978, we've helped solve thousands of cases, not only within the city, but with the county as well. Last year was a very successful year for us. We were able to make 67 arrests. We solved 125 cases. We gave over $33,000 in rewards and took over $43,000 off of narcotics off the street. I mean, what we do is very impressive. And so the way our program works is we receive tips through our tip line or online as well. And we also post through our social media, which is actually pretty popular. We post our crime of the week, our 10 most wanted, which we get from our not only police, but the county, the sheriffs, and several other law enforcement agencies for wanted criminals as well. And we also post what we call crime alerts, where we feature crimes that we don't have as a crime of the week, and usually those are picked up by FitFam, if you guys know. So they're picking it up, and anytime they pick up a crime or a case from us, we get a lot of tips. And, it's really great seeing how the community really responds to us and the work that we do. So last year, we, through tips and law enforcement field work, we were able to, of course, solve many crimes. Here are 3 of them that we were able to solve through tips, which was a man that shot another man at a convenience store, the worker. The tip saw, give me just a second. Let me bring this up. Sorry. So yes, the first one was about a man who shot another man at a convenience store at Far East El Paso, and we were able to solve that through the crime of the week. The next one was a deadly shooting in an East Side apartment complex, which again was also solved through tips. And the last one we featured is a home invasion where a teen was shot in his own apartment. And we were able to solve those crimes through, the tips that we received through our tip line. And of course, these just highlight how we continue to be successful in promoting public safety and supporting law enforcement as well. One of the initiatives that we also started this year is a business alert network. And if you're not familiar, Bassett Mall was able to provide us a storefront there that we use as a community hub where we give presentations on safety, and we also have other nonprofits and law enforcement give presentations as well. This is a new initiative that we started, and the concept of it is to bring the businesses, law enforcement, and of course communities together through Crime Stoppers in order to combat crime in retail centers, of course, as malls, shopping centers, and business districts. And we implemented this first at Bassett. And what we do is they have to submit a report to us first, and then we'll go ahead and post that on our TV and then the Bassett Mall throughout theirs as well. So this way it notifies who's committing crimes and, to deter future crime and those people from, doing that again, from committing any more crimes. So the way that we fund our yearly annual operational cost is about $49,000, and that covers what is our tip line, and it helps fund, as I mentioned, which is available 24/7, and as well as our website and our tip line as well, our P3 Tips app. So we do have a tip app as well, where people are able to send tips and information over to us. And of course, it's 100% anonymous. They're also able to send in video and pictures as well. It also assists in program and outreach initiatives, as well as, I'm sorry, excuse me. So like the impact on crime, so it's also assists on outreach initiatives and social and community, our community hub as well, promoting that. It also helps with our school safety program, because we also work within the schools. We've gotten several, tips regarding, disciplinary issues, parties where there's going to be alcohol or drugs involved. So we do receive that information, and we do pay out those students depending on the severity, if they, get disciplinary action or if it leads to an arrest. And our funding also provides a secure method of transmitting the crucial information to our law enforcement partners. So it is 100% anonymous, and they get the information as soon as we receive it. And so sometimes we will get something that, that's occurring, and we'll get tips, and we're able to funnel that to our law enforcement partners as quickly as possible. Without the proper funding, the tip line, communicating with law enforcement and our outreach and school safety programs, are at risk as well. So since 1978, we've been able to, take out almost 5,000 criminals off the streets, almost 7,000 cases that we've solved, and we've also paid out $1.2 million in rewards. And last year we paid out $33,000 in rewards. So our program is effective, and people are using and calling it. And a lot of the times they don't want a reward. They actually just want to provide that information to make their neighborhood safer. So that's a great thing about our program. We've also recovered over $48 million in narcotics off the street, 4.5 million property recovered, and 10 weapons as well. So our program is effective. We do receive many tips as well, calls. And it's been, since we've been here since 1978, so we've been very successful, and we hope to continue with that success.
I would like to thank the commissioners, and thank you, Judge Samaniego. I want to add that in 2028, we did get awarded the state convention here for the whole Crime Stoppers. So we're going to need funds and a lot of help from the city and the county so we can have a 2028 successful state convention for all Crime Stoppers. And I also want to remind the commissioners and judge that in order for us to keep our city and county safe, which is one of the safest cities in El Paso, I think Crime Stoppers does a lot to help the shorthanded law enforcement out there. So I'm all for Crime Stoppers, and I hope we can continue with your help. Okay?
Thank you. We're very, very proud. Obviously, like I said, Commissioner Leon would give us some ideas when he was in law enforcement of when you prevent something, the amount of money you save, the personnel, the safety. I mean, just you see the statistics, but I don't think it picks up on life saved or interventions or things that could have happened because somebody, gave the right tip and the law enforcement was able to, interact and, get involved before. And the cost of an unsolved crime is really, really expensive because you got all these investigations and paperwork. And so when they get the right tip, and, our community is really good at that. Even some of them don't even accept the reward. They're more interested in doing something for the community. So we thank you. We're very proud, and we'll be taking it into budget. There's no action today, but we'll take it into budget, and we'll be able to get back with you. So thank you so much, and
Have a good day.
congratulations on the conference. We're very proud of that. Thank you.
Item number 7B, receive a presentation from Project Arriba for an annual update of their workforce development services contract with the county.
Morning, Judge,
Morning,
Commissioners. Cristian Martinez, Manager for the Economic Development Department here at the county. Just wanted to introduce this item very quickly before handing it over to Mr. Ortiz to talk about what Project Arriba has done with the county funds that they received in the previous fiscal year. This is an update provided to, as you all know, to the court annually. And so it's an effort for Project Arriba to talk about the impact of the investment. I did want to provide some additional context up front that as we are currently under a renewed agreement, as you all are aware, with Project Arriba for the next 3 years. And that contract had stipulated a not to exceed amount annually of $150,000 for the services that they're going to describe here shortly. Given the upcoming budget position that the county is prepared to experience in FY26, we did work with Project Arriba, and they did graciously agree to reduce FY26's budget by 5%. So just wanted to provide that, but we still need to formalize that reduction via an amendment that we expect to provide to you all in the next several weeks. But wanted to provide you all that kind of context ahead of Project Arriba's presentation.
Thank you, Kristen.
Of course.
Appreciate it. Mr. Ortiz, thank you. Welcome.
Good morning, Judge, and good morning, Commissioners. It's a pleasure always to give you a quick update. Arriba now we've been in partnership with the County of El Paso for all of our 26 years now, but this is just a snapshot of the last 10 years, about $950,000 investment into Project Arriba. What does that look like? That looks like 283 jobs just at UMC alone. With average wages of $57,000 a year. This is us, we pictured them, they were our investor partners last year at our 25th anniversary. We picked them to be our partners that we wanted to feature for our graduation. I'm going to break this down kind of over the last, a quick summary. Over the last 10 years, we've served 338 rural county participants, graduated 225 into high-demand careers, and job placed 198 of them. If you looked at the 338, it was broken down as 134 registered nursing graduates at the bachelor degree level, 94 registered nursing. We have 50 licensed vocational nurses and 60 other allied health as well as other demand occupations. Of those that graduated, 110 were bachelor degree nurses, 49 were registered nurses, 37 LVNs, and 29 other. And of those job placed, 102 of them were bachelor degree nurses, 38 RNs, 37 LVNs, and 21 allied health as well as other.
Before you go on, can I ask you a question
Sure.
really quickly? Why do you think our job placed is, why aren't everyone who is graduating from the program being placed? Is there?
It's just a snapshot during those times. When people graduate, it takes on about 90 days for them to pass their NCLEX exams. Those are the state boards in order for them to be certified as a registered nurse or other allied health. So snapshots, that would be a reason. Another reason would be people choose, a small percentage of people may not go to work immediately thereafter. They may continue on with their education. And then another smaller percentage have to leave El Paso for either military reasons or other types of things.
Okay, okay. Would it be possible to know the number of the graduates and then that have passed their exams after that? Because you said that was one of the reasons, that it's a snapshot and there's about a 90-day period while they're taking their exams.
Sure, like I could give you exact numbers, but like for example, in December of 24, we had almost 100 people, about 60 people graduate. Okay. So those folks won't get job placed at least 90 days into 2025. When we present at that point, that's kind of showing where people aren't job placed. We have a large graduation. We had just a large graduation right now in May. So we look at June, July, August. That was 92 people that graduated in May. Those folks, the majority have to take state boards, so they won't be job placed until about September.
Okay, okay. All right, great, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Just a quick snapshot of our contract spending so far as of the 31st of May. $72,000 of the $150,000 has been spent, the majority into direct participant support services, which amounts to $57,000, and then $15,000 into case management. 100% of the income of the revenue received from the county is for program services. How has your agency, if we did not receive El Paso County's contribution, what would our agency not have been able to accomplish? Really, what we want to spotlight here is that over the last 2 years, Arriba has been able to capture 287 rural county participants that live in the rural county part. When you look at it over the years, these are representing of families, as you know, that we are able to move out of poverty and into the middle class, and have been doing a really good job at that because of your partnership. And so we appreciate the continued partnership and understand the reductions that all the departments need to make, and we will continue to do our best work for the county as well as for the city. How many students did your agency assist, and what was your target, and what did you reach? So when we look at the blue represents our actual, the orange represents what we were contractually obligated. We're doing much better than what we had contractually obligated. We've now served 96 rural county participants, have graduated 22. We had one of our largest graduating classes this year. And that's simply because during the COVID years, we had a great big impact because of the COVID dollars that came in through the county. We were able to increase a lot, and so we're seeing that now, a lot of graduates during last year and this year. And our job placements are just shy of our goal of 13, but we have until the end of September to get that goal. I feel that we will surpass that goal. And as so that you know as well, we're working with the Hunt Institute right now to do an updated study of our impact up to 2025. So this is information up to 2020. For every dollar invested in Project Arriba from the County of El Paso, it's returned back $28. This represents about $900 million in economic income power that's been added to the entire region here in El Paso. You're looking at taking people that were tax takers into really making them tax makers. And the generational impact now after almost 3 decades of doing this service, we're seeing it in action. We're seeing the children of the people that we sponsored 20 years ago being graduating from medical school now, and other stories of that. So we want to thank you for your continued support, and if there's any questions, I'm here to answer. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your work. We're always very proud, especially on the return on investment. It's hard to beat or any other organization that we know of. So we thank you. I don't know if there's any questions from anyone. Yes, Commissioner?
Sorry, thank you. I know that in one of the first slides, you talked about the total number of graduates that had gone on to be placed at UMC. I think it was 287. But that's for the 10-year period. Do you have more recent numbers, like maybe for this current year or last fiscal year?
Yes, and we provide that on obviously quarterly basis to UMC, and I can provide it to your office as well.
Okay, that would be great. I'd like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Commissioner Coronado?
And I just want to thank you for your other partnership with the county in our Promise program.
Yes, sir.
And we're really going, and I see Chris and them back there. We will be hopefully sending you some people over your way.
Yes, sir.
Pretty soon. Our program is really starting to take off now, so thank you.
I think it's a great partnership.
Thank you.
What you do in the Promise program, it's aligned very well.
Thank you. I did want to mention, I forgot, I don't know if you all know, but UMC now sits on our board of directors, so we're very pleased to have that.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yes. Thank you all very much.
You-
God bless.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Item number 8A, purchasing. Go Bond A18. Approve and authorize the purchase and installation of new lighting fixtures and new electrical wiring for the El Paso County, Texas Sports Park using buy board contract 677-22 awarded to Musco Sports Lighting LLC of Oskaloosa, Iowa, for a total project cost of $1,196,294. Purchasing approved on July 8th, 2025. Funding available in CP BD 24 Issue A, Prop A Park Improvements, A18 Sports Park Construction.
Good morning, Karen.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners.
for being
Karen
with us.
Davidson. Thank you, sir. Karen Davidson, your county purchasing agent, and I think the whole team is excited for this one. This is the first of your 2024 capital improvement bond projects. This is asking the court to approve and authorize the purchase and installation of the new lighting fixtures and new electrical wiring for the sports park. We've used a cooperative methodology in this. It is coming in at $1,196,294, and this is a phase 1 to this project. You'll see it's coming in early and well under budget. I think that Parks has also provided to you in your special meeting updates that there'll be a phase 2 opportunity in this project to move those pieces of equipment and repurpose them to a Scarcity Park, but that is phase 2 of this. So this completes the first award for the first bond project of the sports park lighting. And I can answer any type of questions you have on the procurement. And of course, I have Ms. Norma Palacio Rivera here in case you have any operational questions.
Any questions? Yes, Commissioner Holguin?
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to thank Karen and her staff, of course, Norma and her staff, Tim and our park staff. I think The court has always wanted to make sure that the public that voted in favor of the GO bond saw that we were moving quickly to try to get these parks improvements completed as quickly as possible. So this is very exciting. This is our first one that's going forward. So I want to thank all of our staff for moving so quickly. I think that's what the public expects from us is to see these improvements be made to our parks as quickly as possible. We know how important parks are to our community. So thank you all, and I hope to be seeing many more of these contracts coming forward so that we can get our work on our parks done. So thank you, Karen, thank you, Norma, and thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Commissioner.
We have a motion from Commissioner Holguin, a second from Commissioner Coronado. The voting is open.
I vote aye. I don't have my...
Thank you, Judge. Commissioner Butler?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Stout is absent. The motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Judge, Commissioners, we have the contract for that item under 10A. Would you like to see that, the contract?
Yes.
We're ready to move it forward.
Okay,
And
thank
we
you.
have staff here to speak on it also. Melina Bañuelos is the lead for that project.
Okay.
She's our senior engineer.
Item number 10A, Public Works, Go Bond A18. Approve and authorize the county judge to sign the contract between owner and contractor with Musco Sports Lighting LLC for the sports park field light replacement using the existing buy-board contract in the amount of $1,196,294. Funding is available in CP BD 24 Issue A, Prop A, Park Improvements, A18 Sports Park Construction. Contract number 2025-0528.
Good morning, everyone. I am Melina Bañuelos with Public Works Engineering. I just wanted to thank everyone that's been a part of this team, from purchasing, a county attorney, the Norma, having to hear me hound everybody. We were really up against a time crunch. Aside from wanting to move this quickly, we had to work with the parks team to make sure we don't impact scheduling. So that's really the other side of the driving force for this one. Is the sports park is a nonstop, continually in operation facility. And so to find a little gap to be able to do these improvements was one of the most challenging parts. But I do want to thank everyone for their help trying to get this across the finish line and start construction. Are there any questions for me?
No questions, but thank you, Melina, as well. I know how hard you've been working to try to get these projects moving as quickly as possible, so thank you for that.
Thank you, Melina.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a motion from Judge Samaniego, a second from Commissioner Holguin. The voting is open.
I vote aye.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Stout is absent. Motion carries.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners.
Thank you, Norma.
Item number 9A, receive a presentation from Leo Marketing LLC regarding the scope of services, accomplished goals, and impact of their efforts through the Majestic Mission Trail marketing campaign previously contracted by the county.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Cristian Martinez, Economic Development. Just as the item describes, this is an opportunity for Leo Marketing, as obligated within the contract that the county executed with Leo Marketing last year, to describe the impact and the results of the marketing campaign that was conducted, resulting from a previous contract, which was the development or production of the Majestic Mission Trail video. And so with that, I'll allow Mr. Jorgensen and Ms. Cedillo to present the results of that contract now.
Thank you. Welcome.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. Commissioner Stout, wherever he is. Well, thank you for this opportunity. This is a very exciting project we worked on. It was a privilege and honor to work with the people of the Mission Trail, the businesses. We made some friends along the way. We met people from all over the world while we're doing this. So it was a really, really impactful opportunity. So we thank Commissioner Olguin for spearheading and give us guidance on where to go and what to shoot and everything else. So we're just going to go over, I guess, what we did and then go over the results. So if you want to go to the first slide for me, sir. I don't know if I control it, do I? I do. All right.
You can control it.
Gotcha. All right. So this marketing campaign was the first ever national marketing campaign by El Paso County in El Paso County's history. So we took this very seriously. And we decided to do a national component, which was a podcast, national podcast about history, about traveling, about Southwest history. So we placed those. Those were national hits. So that was a way that we were able to do a national campaign without breaking the budget. Because as you know, national campaigns cost millions of dollars. And our budget was $500,000. So that was a good way that we discovered that we could reach a national audience, without breaking the bank. The second component was a regional TV campaign and regional digital ads. So we went to Tucson, we went to Phoenix, we went to Albuquerque and Place TV. We did some public relations there that Jennifer will talk about after I talk about the media buying portion. And we also did digital ads there. Some of those digital ads, we were able to track people on their cell phones. So we served those ads in Texas, Southwest area. We able to see how many people saw the ad and came to El Paso. So that's newer technology. So we targeted cities that are common Southwest travelers, which is, of course, Southwest, of course, Texas, and some outliers was like Los Angeles, which we targeted. And then there was some in Florida, but it wasn't significant enough to move dollars there, so we just stayed with California, Southwest, Texas.
Gilbert, I'm sorry, before you move on, what does OTT stand for?
OTT is streaming ads. Yeah, so when you watch your show on the apps that have commercials or on your phone, you want the History Channel documentary, whatever it is, and you see some commercials in there, those are OTT ads. And most of the time, they're not skippable. You have to watch them in order to see the next episode or the next scene on your app. So those are the ones that we could track, the streaming ads. All right. All right, so here we go with TV. The TV portion, like I said, was broken up into 3 different cities. I'm just going to go through this briefly. So this is just like Denver commercials. We did get some earned media, some PR. So several commissioners had the opportunity to go and be on the morning shows, on the talk shows in that market. And we did get some added value, some freebies. So we tried to leverage our relationships with the TV stations as much as possible to get as much free stuff as possible to really expand that budget and make it seem like it's a 7-figure budget rather than a 6-figure budget. So Phoenix is a big market. It's, I think, in the top 20 in the United States. It's the whole state of Arizona, practically, besides Tucson. So same story here. The earned media value of going on an Arizona statewide program is a lot higher. So you see that earned media is way higher than actually our initial budget, the value there, because they actually played this on the PBS. It was statewide. PBS actually picked it up nationally and played it nationally as well. So a lot of earned media value there. Same story with Tucson. Tucson is a smaller market. It's a little higher than El Paso in terms of TV markets, but we were able to get some earned media. We were able to get some commissioners to go out and be on their morning shows and news programs as well. So digital campaign, we talked about the podcasts and where they hit. These are the impressions from the national podcasts. They're all over the United States. So this is pretty important because there's a lot of people in this map that have never even heard of the Mission Trail or maybe not even El Paso. So we have to reach those people. Okay, this is the overall digital campaign metrics. So it reached over 11 million people. And store visits, we'll talk about that later, that's a trackable portion of the portion of our campaign that could be tracked, the streaming ads on your phone. So store visits is very important because this is only the individual. We track one phone, right? Most people don't travel alone. They travel with family or friends. So that actual number, if we do a little analysis, go beyond the numbers a little bit, let's assume that on average, each one of these people took 2 people to the Mission Trail. That's a very conservative number, right? So that makes it over 6,000 people, 6,300 and some change, right? If those people spent on average about $100 in the Mission Trail, which is also very conservative, that's over $600,000 in economic impact directly to the Mission Trail. And that's only the people we can track. That's 20% of the campaign, not including television, not including podcasts, not including earned media or PR. That's just the trackable people. So just from that small analysis, you can say that this generated an economic impact far greater than the initial budget. So it's an ROI. It's not a doing things at cost or just doing things like the government's usually doing. We actually made a return.
So just to be clear, Gilbert, so you can track the phones that have to watch the ads and see if those same phones actually walk into a store at the Mission Trail.
Correct. Walked in the vicinity of the Mission Trail. Yep.
Wow.
That's the 2182?
Yes, sir. That's the individual phone.
They're really the conversions. Imagine some of them don't necessarily don't have to walk in the store, but they actually visit the places. Different, right?
Right. Yeah, we tracked them in the Mission Trail, the airport, wherever they go. So that's about 20% of our campaign is trackable. Of course, TV is not trackable, and PR is not trackable, and podcasts aren't trackable, but this is. So that's a very important metric because this portion, returned an ROI on the campaign cost. That breaks it down of store visits, where they came from. Here we go: Texas, California, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado. Not a surprise because that's where we targeted them. So a lot of people from Texas.
Can you dive in further? Oh, maybe that's the next slide.
Next slide.
Okay.
Dive in further. All right, here we go. Dallas, Texas was one of the cities that our research showed that was a frequent Southwest travelers, which was.
And we didn't market to.
We
didn't do any of
We
the.
didn't do any PR or television there because it's very expensive, but we did do. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Good morning. My name is Jennifer Cedillo. I am with Leo Marketing. I just wanted to elaborate a little bit on what we're showing here. So, correct, the regional component for media, traditional media, was not placed in Dallas, but we had a lot of earned media. So it's important to note that the major markets that we purchased for the campaign were indeed Phoenix, Tucson, and Albuquerque. However, we had a lot of national pickup and national interest that was generated from the press releases that we sent out, and Dallas was one of those markets. So with Fox, with the Fox network, with ABC, Telemundo, and Univision, they have syndicated programs that allows for reach to go beyond just the markets that were regionally selected. So you'll see a lot of that affected here as well. As Gilbert mentioned, this was the first ever national tourism campaign, and economic development was a big key performance indicator for us. We wanted to make sure that the businesses along the Mission Trail, as well as all the historical sites that were there, were really highlighted as much as possible to give an invitation to these markets that had maybe never visited El Paso or had never visited outside of the city limits. So everything that we did was businesses in mind and historical cultural tourism in mind. So let me just see here. This is actually a very interesting slide that just kind of shows how people were receiving the information, albeit on their telephone, connected TV, desktop, in their cars as well. obviously with podcasting, that's an important component as well. Going backwards here. So we had media opportunities extend all throughout Albuquerque with English and Spanish media. And this was not just television programs, but it was also radio, talk shows, and the opportunity to show, talk, discuss businesses along the Mission Trail, some of the traditions, introducing Socorro, San Ali, and Isleta to different markets. And it's important to note that this was also during a very heavy political year. And in spite of all that, we got a lot of coverage through all the major networks that you see. This was morning shows, noon shows. There was also 5, 6 p.m. News as well. And with the Fox, ABC, Telemundo, and Univision stations, and PBS, they're all national syndicated. So to just elaborate on that, the 30-minute documentary was picked up by PBS. They were so impressed with the content. They'd never seen anything like that. They have very strict rules on what they cover. They can cover. It has to have certain guidelines, quality obviously being very important, story, content, and if it's something that will appeal to its viewers. So they were able to pick this up and show the 30-minute documentary throughout their various networks, throughout some of these markets. So that has huge impact on that as well. The same with Phoenix. This was a really big market. Gilbert mentioned it was top 20. It ranks between 14 and 16, depending on where you're at. So the opportunity to purchase a top 20 market with this campaign is huge. It has great reach. And like I mentioned earlier, it extends even beyond the state of Arizona with pickup throughout Texas, California, and around the East Coast as well. Tucson was a big market as well. We saw a lot of great results out of there because of its proximity to El Paso. And we even had some interest in Tucson, which was not one of the regional markets, but they definitely wanted to hear what we had to offer. And it's important to note that the campaign was from June to September. And we still have a lot of interest from media outlets that want to bring markets here as well. And with that, I want to talk about the in-market interview opportunities. So with the out-of-state market opportunities that we had for PR, those were us going to the stations. With the pickup that we received from some of these press releases that we sent out, we were able to have opportunities brought to economically impact the businesses along the Mission Trail for them to speak from their own words and show their businesses along the Mission Trail as well. So there were segments that were done throughout different English and Spanish television, radio, print opportunities that allowed them to display their business because perhaps they weren't featured in the video when it came out, and there were some changes along the Mission Trail with new businesses coming into the area. They were able to invite invite viewers and listeners to come into their businesses to showcase what they're doing and some of the new features and offerings along the Mission Trail as well. So that was a great opportunity. What we did is we worked alongside communications and economic development to round robin different businesses so that they could be featured as well. And like I said, those opportunities extended beyond TV, print, and radio as well. These are some of the quotes from some of the folks that you'll see. We have a short video that we prepared. This is directly from the businesses that were impacted by the campaign. So we have a testimonial from Rick Quesada with Isleta del Sur Pueblo. It was featured. Rick Razzo with Remissions Brewery. Sandra Licon, which is with Licon Dairy. And at this time, we're going to go ahead and cue the video.
This is the very first time that the county has invested funds specifically on a marketing campaign for the Mission Trail.
Push them in, push them in. That's perfect. Okay, reset, let's go.
A big hello to all of our friends in El Paso. We love you guys there.
Great to be in the beautiful city of Tucson.
Is that church clean?
We want to invite people to come and get to know El Paso.
The Mission Trail is a 9-mile stretch across time in El Paso County's Mission Valley.
It's hard for a small business to do it on its own. Of course, it's not usually in our budget to do anything like this. It helps tremendously. And something that I had a dream, it became reality, and now people are seeing my reality. They're seeing my dream, and it's nice. It's really heartwarming.
It has really brought in a lot of tourism. We've seen a lot of people coming from New York, from Florida, from Ohio, Montana. So we've seen a lot of people from all over the country come in. We've seen an increase in our visitor numbers.
I've had some tourists, people that are visiting the area, not for work, not for business, but because they want to visit the area. So that demographic is growing. We're getting some tourists, specifically just tourists, not coming here to visit family or, they're people that have never been here and want to explore the area.
It's just been such a blessing. We've seen so many people come in straight from the airport, seeing all the missions and just coming by, stopping for food and stopping for a good coffee.
El Paso County has helped me as an artist to promote my art. We are known in other states and other countries.
The El Paso County marketing efforts have made a tremendous impact on our store. We have seen a growth in our online presence as well as customers coming in and shopping at our store.
All the marketing that's being done by the county has never been done before. This is something that we really cherish because we've been like the forgotten people. And now that all this advertising is being done for us, it's opened up a lot of people's eyes that they've heard it in different places, seen it in different places, and it's brought more business to our area.
We've had many tourists come down because they saw the video, they heard about it, but because of that, our traffic has increased. Now we've seen people that had never even heard of Licon Dairy, but they started visiting the Mission Trail, and this is the beauty of this marketing campaign, that we've all helped each other. Every single business along the corridor will make sure to mention the other business, so we make sure that everyone gets a little bit of that support as businesses, but it was this marketing campaign that made that happen.
You heard it from the business owners themselves, which was the most important statistic of all. We can put all kinds of charts and graphs there, but it's a matter of reaching out to the people that actually live there, and that campaign was for them. So I guess we're very bold in asking them directly, how did this work out for you? And I didn't give them any answers or pay them any money. That was their unique thoughts, and I was so happy to hear that because that's impacting people's lives. So thank you all for the opportunity.
Thank you, Gilbert. Thank you, Jennifer. Any questions? Any comments? No?
No, just thank you all I know how important it was for you all as part of this campaign to reach out and talk to as many of our Mission Trail businesses as possible. So thank you for making that effort. I know that all of them were very excited and felt very lucky to be able to participate. Sadly, before the campaign started, we had some businesses close, El Charlatan, which was such a huge draw to the Mission Trail. So it's too bad that we couldn't have helped prevent that. But I think that the businesses that we have that are there on the trail now are just so appreciative of the county's efforts, because it is the first time that we've taken such an active role. So thank you all for making sure to always take the business owners into account and getting their input.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
And thank you both.
Thank you.
We
Thank you very
appreciate that.
much.
Thank you.
Item 9B, receive an update from staff regarding the Texas Broadband Development's Office's Broadband Equity and Deployment Grant.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Cristian Martinez, Manager for the Economic Development Department. Wanted to follow up following the item presented to you all last Monday. First, thanking you all for the direction to kind of and the opportunity to explore this option or this opportunity further over the last week. Did want to update you quickly given the quickly encroaching deadline for submission, which is still set for July 22nd, next Tuesday. As far as a recap of the previous week, staff worked very quickly with several departments, including the IT department, the planning and development department, and the grants departments to explore some of the options for an application and the viability for an application as directed to by the court last Monday. After discussing it between departments and further kind of exploring the grant application, we did identify some challenges for producing a viable application, namely the fact that the application is asking for specific project details now. And so one of the things I know we discussed last Monday was to potentially replicate the process that had been done with the county's ARPA funds. There is a critical difference, I think, in the rollout of that project versus how we could apply for these funds and the feasibility for them or the lack thereof, which is the fact that the county, when the proposals and the ARPA funds were produced, or the RFP was produced, we put out an RFP solicitation for a service provider to come up with a network design that matched the areas that were priority areas to the county, right? But the requirements of this grant are asking for those network design specifications up front, right? So there's no opportunity for the county to submit an application that replicates that process without having those technical project details already in hand, right? And this was identified and called out by our IT department as well as our grants division. So that creates a pretty significant challenge, I think, as far as producing a viable county-led application for submission. In addition to that, there's questions within the application about projected subscription numbers to the service, which really seem to imply that while local governments are eligible to submit applications for this grant application, it's very likely for those local governments. This is our staff's interpretation of the application. It's very likely that it is for those local governments that are interested in providing internet as a public utility. In addition to that, because of the questions being asked in that respect, and so as a result of some of those key elements that were identified over the last week, staff did want to kind of come back to the court, provide that update very quickly, and at this point, recommend reconsidering the approach with regards to submitting an application, and instead perhaps pivoting to identifying any collaboration opportunities with service providers that may be applying in the area, and whether it may be through public engagement efforts or letters of support. That's something that staff can work very quickly to identify and bring back to the court as needed, and offer support in that way. I did want to also add one piece of context that I failed to add last week, which was that the county has still been an active participant in the shaping of the BEAD grant funding previously. There was the BEAD challenge process that occurred several months ago near the start of the year, in which the state broadband office solicited responses across the state of Texas, including El Paso County, for areas that were covered and would be eligible to receive BEAD funding. Our staff worked very closely with the GIS team as well as Borderplex Connect to identify areas that were being listed as covered along the Texas broadband map, but weren't covered based on the data that we had previously identified via the Hunt study. And so those areas were submitted as challenges earlier in the year. And so I did just want to kind of reiterate or mention that, because I didn't last week, but I think that is a critical opportunity that the county has already participated in as far as shaping the areas for coverage or the areas that may be qualified for this type of funding. But going back to the main point, just in light of some of those project details, I do apologize for kind of how quickly this process has needed to develop over the last couple of weeks, but it is staff's recommendation to kind of reconsider the approach to identify any collaborative opportunities through other grantee applications maybe coming from the area. Happy to answer any other comments or questions you all may have at this time.
Commissioner Dolgi?
Hi, Christian. So I know that our Cotton Valley Connect program, we had to reduce the number of households served pretty significantly. There isn't anything that we can do to apply for this funding to kind of try to recapture those homes that were not going to be able to be served now under the Cotton Valley Connect grant? Because it seems like we have all of the information and documentation that we needed to apply for that program.
The only challenge I can identify, and that's a great suggestion, Commissioner. The only challenge I can identify there is that the county, upon submitting this application, would be communicating to the granting agency that the county would be the agency implementing that software. And so while we do have a design produced by Insights, it is for that scope of work, and I think we would have to work pretty quickly to kind of identify with legal what options the county has for using elements of that scope of work that have been reduced on that contract for another submission, and how, if at all, we would need to work that through legally with our contractor for that project, which is Insights. And so there are some challenges there that I think that we may not be able to produce in a timely way by the Tuesday deadline.
So if we're not able to submit a grant application on our own, have we already started reaching out to to providers in the area to see what their plans are, if they're applying, what they could use from us in order to make their applications more successful?
We have reached out to service providers in the area, still pending. It has been indicated to staff that they do intend to apply, but as far as what the details or what project service area will be making up the application, that has not been given to the department yet, and so still pending that response, hopefully early this week. And so happy to kind of come back to the court very quickly if needed for a letter of support or any other type of a way in which the county may be able to help facilitate that process through, whether it's if there's a community engagement component, for example. I know Harris County is working on that. The Harris County Broadband Office has committed with some of their service providers to provide community engagement efforts or facilitate community engagement efforts upon successful award of those grants. And so happy to have those discussions. I do think that there's a bit more leeway with that type of approach given the deadline. And so have initiated those discussions, still waiting on some additional details as far as what the county's support could look like.
Thank you.
I have a comment, Judge, if that's okay. Thank you, Christian, for the update. I had a feeling that this was going to happen when you presented to us last week, just because I know how intense the grant proposal process is at the federal level and how much work has to go into that. I have a deep appreciation for that. So I would just, I hope that moving forward, we can prioritize these kinds of grant applications that we know are coming forward by doing due diligence. We could start doing due diligence now on bringing Wi-Fi to parks, right? Understanding what those technical specs are, what is needed for an application at the federal level, so that when the grants come and open up again, we have all of that prepared and we're not scrambling at the last minute. So last week you mentioned, those kinds of projects that we know we want to pursue. So my recommendation, my request would be that we work towards that planning now and not waiting until a grant application is due to get that information and that process started. And I don't know if that happens in budget with grants or if that happens at the department level. But either way, I think especially when it comes to federal and state grants, that should be like our priority to draw down those funding opportunities, because we need it. We know that we need every single federal and state dollar that's available to us. And so it really pains me to see a lost opportunity here when we know that people in our county are underserved or not served by broadband. So I don't know what that planning process looks like internally with economic development or with grants, but I would hope that that starts now.
No, thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate the comments. I think they're very well heard. That is a conversation in the meetings that we had with the various departments this past week that we already started to kind of preliminarily discuss as far as recognizing kind of some of the application details in this opportunity and understanding what details we may need for a future grant opportunity from some of those opportunities. For example, we discussed the Parks Wi-Fi project last week. And so, you know, Parks informed us that they're currently in the process of developing some of those details now, right? But now I think there's some pretty significant awareness of what would need to be collected for future grant opportunities. And so very, very well heard suggestion, Commissioner, and it's definitely the intent of the department to follow that process moving forward.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Commissioner. Anything else? The department.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Christian. Good job.
Item number 11A, grant applications. Grant application, approve and authorize the Criminal Justice Coordination Department to apply for the fiscal year 26 Department of Veterans Affairs Sergeant Fox Suicide Prevention Grant Program in the amount of $750,000 from October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2026. No county match is required. Contract number 2025-0524.
Good morning,
Welcome.
Judge,
Good morning.
Commissioners. I'm Isela Hooper with Budget and Finance with the Grant Section. We are requesting your approval to submit the Sergeant Fox Suicide Prevention Grant application. This is a one-year grant. There is no match required. If successful, this grant would fund 3 grant positions, development of an app, and also for some training. And I will pass this over to Mr. Christopher Ray for more details.
Good morning, County Judge, County Commissioners. Christopher Ray, Criminal Justice Coordination Department. Just really quickly on this grant is very special just because of the fact that it's dealing with the veteran suicide. As you guys know, 17 veterans commit suicide daily. That's the average that we're seeing in America. And what this grant's going to be able to do is pay for an application. It's going to pay for an app, kind of like what the VA uses, where they are able to connect with veterans at home, where they can easily talk to a mental health professional. But it's going to do that with county staff. It's going to be able to do that with our veteran service organization that we have for the county. That way they can do a lot of the legwork of getting appointments, things like that, over the phone, and it takes off that strain from that veteran. More specifically, we're going to be working with veterans in crisis. So we're going to be teaming up with those positions that you heard of, teaming up with the individuals that are in crisis in the community, where your CIT teams go out there and assist them, getting them warm handoffs to emergency mental health, connecting them to people that can help them get VA benefits. And then the app itself, they'll be able to connect to resources, find out what does the community of El Paso have. That's going to be unique, and we're seeing successes across the nation and what the VA is doing with these type of mobile applications where they can discuss stuff. We're going to be able to share information securely to be able to provide medical information to the resources. One thing that we learned in law enforcement is when you deal with a victim, you don't want to have them to continue to say the same story because it re-victimizes them. So it's the same principle. If we cut out the middlemen who are asking for information to get that veteran to talk about what they talked about, to get them to an appointment later on, we're just doing the same thing. So we'll be able to connect them that way. Just a quick story, in law enforcement, I dealt with an individual who had committed suicide. He was a Marine combat veteran. He had dealt with a loss of a relationship, and he saw no way out, and he took his life. And that always stuck with me because could we have done something to help that individual, especially being in crisis? And so I think this will be able to help people on the preventative side to really, be able to reach out to somebody in need, because sometimes they just don't want to because they fear the stigma. And so with this grant, we're going to be able to do that with the application and as well as hiring individuals that we're going to really require them to be either a veteran and some type of leader in the military. That way they can, give that feedback to those veterans. Quickly, our County Commissioner Jackie Bullard talked about the how hard it is to go after grants, and I just want to highlight the fact that Isela and Dr. Leslie Bama here, who in a period of maybe 2 weeks, they were able to get this grant going and completed, and it was a lot of work. The VA requires a lot of information, so special thanks to them. I just wanted to kind of touch upon Dr. Bamba. She works for the COSIP grant, which is our grant that we're going to be rolling out, which is $1.6 million for opioid abuse. And she was able to tie some of this into that grant, so that way if veterans are suffering from substance abuse, we can get them help with substance abuse treatment through peer support. So if you don't mind, if I'd like to bring up Dr. Bamba, maybe give a few words regarding her work and with the veteran population.
Absolutely. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. I apologize for my voice. But yes, I am Dr. Leslie Elisa Bamba, and I am the program coordinator over the El Paso County Opioid Recovery Program. Again, like Chris had mentioned, a $1.6 million grant. I just wanted to state that I'm very grateful to be part of this team and to be part of this grant. I am a veteran myself, and I had served during a time where mental health, substance use, and suicidality was just extremely prevalent. And so I do remember my time as a platoon leader working with my soldiers and just trying to figure out how are we going to get these servicemen and women these resources, these community resources, given the lack of resources within the community. And so X amount of years later, standing here before you, requesting to approve this grant application, I'm just extremely humbled and grateful that I can continue to serve my armed brothers and sisters. So thank you for this time.
Thank you. Great job. And it's one thing ties into the other. I mean, right now, suicide, homelessness, obviously the mental health in general, all tied in. So very appreciative because it's become one of the priorities for veterans at this time, and so the timing is excellent. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a motion from Commissioner Coronado, a second from Judge Samaniego. The voting is open.
I vote aye.
Thank you, Commissioner Butler. Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, Commissioners Court will recess into executive session to discuss items 12A through 12D pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071 and 551.087. Commissioners Court will reconvene to take official action. It is 11:20 a.m.
You know, it's good enjoyment, good relaxation, good therapy coming out here and coping with situations and relaxation. It's peaceful, it's quiet, it's nice.
In the summertime, it's nice and cool down here. About 8 o'clock starts getting warm, but it's nice and cool. Come down here and relax for a couple of hours before you have to go out here and face the world.
The bait, it varies. You know, when I first started out here, they were hitting on chicken breast. They stopped hitting on chicken breast. What's very popular is weenie, hot dog, and then they stop hitting on the hot dog, and then all of a sudden they start hitting on the shrimp, and then it slows down on the shrimp. Now I'm using some stink bait, and it really stinks. So hopefully we can catch something with some stink bait.
But it's great. When the fish are biting, it's great. Yeah. The trout will put the hook in their mouth, and what you're supposed to do when they pull on it like they pulled before, then you yank on the line and get the hook set in their mouth. You gotta, trout is kind of hard fishing for trout. Like that. There he goes.
Well, the largest one I caught here was a 15-pounder. Yeah, you can eat them. I don't because I like to catch and release.
I would, if I was going to eat fish, I'd eat the fish. And I've been fishing here for 60 years. And you live to fight another day.
A hard time believing that cars were just zooming around this place. We took him out to Escalante Park. We poked his brain a little bit, and this is what he had to say. Check it out.
We are standing roughly, probably right off of turns 1 and 2 for Evans Oval. It was the first really modern racetrack built here in El Paso back in 1939. Walter Gold decided that he'd had enough of the city. He's racing over at the rodeo field, which is now the County Coliseum. Everybody was complaining, it's too loud, it's too dusty. He says, you know what, forget you guys, I'm gonna go out and build a new speedway, and this is where he built it. If we're standing where I think we're standing, we're right about turn number 1. So turn 1 and turn 2 would come around here. The back stretch is probably right about where that palm tree is. And then what would be the pits would be right about where our golf carts are. And then the rest of the grandstands and everything will be right here. And big scoreboard over here on the north side where people would poke their heads through and watch the race. were the center of racing. We had people come from all over to come here. It's something to be proud of. We have a rich racing history, whether it's quarter-mile dragsters, drag boats, Grand Prix. There were so many weekends, so many people out here, not just the drivers, but the families and everybody that came out. It was a very vital part of the city. Every single time you have a speedway that develops on the outskirts of a city, eventually the city's going to catch up with it, and that's what happened. They came out here another good 20 years, and then the city caught up with them, and they had to move again. I think it was a very, very vital part because it brought people together, and they saw this space that could be used for more than just, paving it over. They made a park. As sad as I am to see the speedway go, it's a beautiful golf course now, but it is part of the history, and you need to have people reminded about that, sometimes you see that golf course or you see that empty lot and it was something completely different. It's stuff like that, just take a step back and look at it and you'll say, oh yeah, this is pretty cool.
Well, once you're in Azcárate Park, you'll notice that there's a little community garden right here. This is what it is. It's a teaching and demonstration garden. We're actually about to meet someone who is kind of in charge of this place and is going to walk us through on how you can actually participate. Come on, let's go meet him. Hi,
Hello.
Eduardo Rascon is here with us today. Eduardo, thank you so much for being here with us.
Of course.
Talk to us a little bit about this garden. What is this?
So this is basically to teach the community how they can actually have their own backyard garden and how they can grow their own produce.
So Eduardo, these are Brussels sprouts. Wow, these are so tiny, so beautiful. Now, you're telling me that this community garden is nonprofit, correct?
Yes. As a nonprofit, since we're not making any money out of this association or fundraising, most of the money that we do through fundraising or sales is to actually have funds and budget to replace things that are happening at the garden.
All right, Eduardo, so this is really unique. Part of your garden, you're telling me that this is spinach.
Mm-hmm.
I can actually eat this.
Yes, it should be very buttery.
It is actually, it's really good.
Perfect for like omelets or for like salads, smoothies.
You don't put any pesticides on this or anything like that?
No, spraying we usually try to tell the community that should be used as a last resort because there's other practices that you can apply in your garden to prevent pests from coming in. I would like to encourage everybody to start getting familiar with the plants that they can grow here in the community. El Paso can offer you a lot of opportunity in terms of growing conditions.
Hello everyone, it's Sam Guzman here. We are live at Azcárate Park for another episode of Small Town Spotlight. Azcárate Park is home to many things. One of those things is its golf course, whether you are a seasoned pro or someone who just wants to appreciate what the outdoors has to offer here at Azcárate Park. The Azcárate Golf Course might be the place to be. Check it out.
Azcárate Golf Course is special for many reasons. I think the number one thing that makes Escarity special, lots of families tell me, oh yeah, my grandpa used to play here. That's how I got introduced to golf. It's just been around for so long and generational, and they're loyal to the golf course.
Gentlemen, how we playing today? Good? You're going the wrong way. Holes that way.
One of the best things at Escarity that we have to offer is the Delta 9. That's a shorter golf course, executive type golf course, 9 holes. The par 4 is a little shorter, but it has a par 3 and a par 5. That's a great thing to learn on. And the wonderful thing about that is, let's say, you know, we're booked on tee times. We hate to tell somebody that walks in the door, we don't want them to go home without playing. We want to find them a spot, you know, and we're a very accommodating golf course in that respect. That's a no-no in my book. You know, I do not want that guy drive down here and then be told, oh, we don't have a spot for you. So we can accommodate that. That gives us 27 holes. So when we have a tournament going on the main, we can send them over to the Delta 9, start them off, and then they can jump over here on the main when the tournament's done. We got a lighted driving range, you know, and we stay open till 9 o'clock in the summer and 10 o'clock on Friday and Saturday nights. We did add some black tees 10, 12 years ago on this golf course. That made a huge difference. The golf course before was a little bit shorter for championship type players. And once we did that, we lengthened it up, and you know, with the technology, that was great. When I get to talk to people, that's right up my alley. I love that. You know, I get to talk about golf, I get to sit down, and you learn so many things. You know, you get to know the people on a personable level.
Beautiful. I hope to come out here one day and get a round. It won't be a good round, but it'll definitely be an experience. Now, another sport Escarity Park is home to is a sport that is quickly becoming one of the most popular sports in the entire world. We're talking about pickleball. Escarity Park is one of the most popular places to play here in the Sun City. It's got 4 hard outdoor courts, and again, it's a sport that is quickly gaining much attention, and Escarity Park is the place to be if you're looking to play pickleball.
Started out as a casual way to get exercise, and then it just kind of spiraled into an addiction.
Over the last 2 years, John Wooten has become quite the pickleball athlete, all thanks to these courts here at Escarity Park.
3-0. My next door neighbor and I met somebody else that played here on a regular basis, and then we went one day, and then it was 2, and then it was 4, and then it turned into like 5 or 6 times a week. Here's just.
John calls these courts the hub for pickleball in the Sun City.
Yeah, you know, it's only a couple miles from my house, so it makes the addiction worse because I know I can get here quick. And so this part of town is pretty central.
Pickleball's success does come with a downside. According to John, the relatively new courts at Escarity already show some wear and tear.
Good shot. Over time, it's caused the surface to crack, even though it's fairly new. And so now they're going to redo it because it's such a popular thing right now.
And John says the best part of pickleball? Anyone can play.
002. There are plenty of places to play. It's free once you buy all the equipment, and there's plenty of people who will teach you how to do it. 431. It usually starts out recreationally for most people, and then it turns into an addiction.
You know, it's good enjoyment, good relaxation, good therapy coming out here and coping with situations and relaxation. It's peaceful, it's quiet, it's nice.
In the summertime, it's nice and cool down here. About 8 o'clock, starts getting warm, but it's nice and cool. Come down here and relax for a couple of hours before you have to go out here and face the world.
The bait, it varies. You know, when I first started out here, they were hitting on chicken breast. They stopped hitting on chicken breast. What's very popular is weenie, hot dog, and then they stop hitting on the hot dog, and then all of a sudden they start hitting on the shrimp, and then it slows down on the shrimp. Now I'm using some stink bait, and it really stinks. So hopefully we can catch something with some stink bait.
But it's great. When the fish are biting, it's great. Yeah. The trout will put the hook in their mouth. And what you're supposed to do when they pull on it like they pulled before, then you yank on the line and get the hook set in their mouth. And you gotta, trout is kind of hard fishing for trout. Like that. There he goes.
Well, the largest one I caught here was a 15-pounder. Yeah, you can eat them. I don't because I like to catch and release.
I would, if I was going to eat fish, I'd eat the fish. And I've been fishing here for 60 years. And you live to fight another day.
had a hard time believing that cars were just zooming around this place. We took him out to Escalante Park. We poked his brain a little bit, and this is what he had to say. Check it out.
We are standing roughly, probably right off of turns 1 and 2 for Evans Oval. It was the first really modern racetrack built here in El Paso back in 1939. Walter Gold decided that he'd had enough of the city. He's racing over at the rodeo field, which is now the county coliseum. Everybody was complaining, it's too loud, it's too dusty. He says, you know what, forget you guys, I'm gonna go out and build a new speedway, and this is where he built it. If we're standing where I think we're standing, we're right about turn number 1. So turn 1 and turn 2 would come around here. The back stretch is probably right about where that palm tree is. And then what would be the pits would be right about where our golf carts are. And then the rest of the grandstands and everything will be right here. And big scoreboard over here on the north side where people would poke their heads through and watch the race. were the center of racing. We had people come from all over to come here. It's something to be proud of. We have a rich racing history, whether it's quarter-mile dragsters, drag boats, Grand Prix. There were so many weekends, so many people out here, not just the drivers, but the families and everybody that came out. It was a very vital part of the city. Every single time you have a speedway that develops on the outskirts of a city, eventually the city's going to catch up with it, and that's what happened. They came out here another good 20 years, and then the city caught up with them, and they had to move again. I think it was a very, very vital part because it brought people together, and they saw this space that could be used for more than just, paving it over. They made a park. As sad as I am to see the speedway go, it's a beautiful golf course now, but it is part of the history, and you need to have people reminded about that, sometimes you see that golf course or you see that empty lot and it was something completely different. It's stuff like that, just take a step back and look at it and you'll say, oh yeah, this is pretty cool.
Well, once you're in Azcárate Park, you'll notice that there's a little community garden right here. This is what it is. It's a teaching and demonstration garden. We're actually about to meet someone who is kind of in charge of this place and is going to walk us through on how you can actually participate. Come on, let's go meet him. Hi,
Hello.
Eduardo Rascon is here with us today. Eduardo, thank you so much for being here with us.
Of course.
Talk to us a little bit about this garden. What is this?
So this is basically to teach the community how they can actually have their own backyard garden and how they can grow their own produce.
So Eduardo, these are Brussels sprouts. Wow, these are so tiny, so beautiful. Now, you're telling me that this community garden is nonprofit, correct?
Yes. As a nonprofit, since we're not making any money out of this association or fundraising, most of the money that we do through fundraising or sales is to actually have funds and budget to replace things that are happening at the garden.
All right, Eduardo, so this is really unique. Part of your garden, you're telling me that this is spinach. I can actually eat this.
Yes, it should be very buttery.
It is actually, it's really good.
Perfect for like omelets or for like salads, smoothies.
You don't put any pesticides on this or anything like that?
No, spraying we usually try to tell the community that should be used as a last resort because there's other practices that you can apply in your garden to prevent pests from coming in. I would like to encourage everybody to start getting familiar with the plants that they can grow here in the community. El Paso can offer you a lot of opportunity in terms of growing conditions.
Hello everyone, it's Sam Guzman here. We are live at Azcárate Park for another episode of Small Town Spotlight. Azcárate Park is home to many things. One of those things is its golf course, whether you are a seasoned pro or someone who just wants to appreciate what the outdoors has to offer here at Azcárate Park. The Azcárate Golf Course might be the place to be. Check it out.
Azcárate Golf Course is special for many reasons. I think the number one thing that makes Ascarity special, lots of families tell me, oh yeah, my grandpa used to play here. That's how I got introduced to golf. It's just been around for so long and generational, and they're loyal to the golf course.
Gentlemen, how are we playing today? Good? You're going the wrong way. Holes that way.
One of the best things at Escalante that we have to offer is the Delta 9. That's a shorter golf course, executive type golf course, 9 holes. The par 4 is a little shorter, but it has a par 3 and a par 5. That's a great thing to learn on. And the wonderful thing about that is, let's say, we're booked on tee times. We hate to tell somebody that walks in the door, we don't want them to go home without playing. We want to find them a spot, and we're a very accommodating golf course in that respect. That's a no-no in my book. I do not want that guy drive down here and then be told, oh, we don't have a spot for you. So we can accommodate that. That gives us 27 holes. So when we have a tournament going on in the main, we can send them over to the Delta 9, start them off, and then they can jump over here on the main when the tournament's done. We got a lighted driving range, and we stay open till 9 o'clock in the summer and 10 o'clock on Friday and Saturday nights. We did add some black tees 10, 12 years ago on this golf course. That made a huge difference. The golf course before was a little bit shorter for championship type players. And once we did that, we lengthened it up, and with the technology, that was great. When I get to talk to people, man, that's right up my alley. I love that. I get to talk about golf, I get to sit down, and you learn so many things. You get to know the people on a personable level.
Beautiful. I hope to come out here one day and get a round. It won't be a good round, but it'll definitely be an experience. Now, another sport Escalante Park is home to is a sport that is quickly becoming one of the most popular sports in the entire world. We're talking about pickleball. Escalante Park is one of the most popular places to play here in the Sun City. It's got 4 hard outdoor courts, and again, it's a sport that is quickly gaining much attention, and Escalante Park is the place to be if you're looking to play pickleball.
Started out as a casual way to get exercise, and then it just kind of spiraled into an addiction.
Over the last 2 years, John Wooten has become quite the pickleball athlete, all thanks to these courts here at Escalante Park.
3-0. My next door neighbor and I met somebody else that played here on a regular basis, and then we went one day, and then it was 2, and then it was 4, and then it turned into like 5 or 6 times a week. Here's just.
John calls these courts the hub for pickleball in the Sun City.
Yeah, it's only a couple miles from my house, so it makes the addiction worse because I know I can get here quick. And so this part of town is pretty central.
Pickleball's success does come with a downside. According to John, the relatively new courts at Escalante already show some wear and tear.
Good shot. Over time, it's caused the surface to crack, even though it's fairly new. And so now they're going to redo it because it's such a popular thing right now.
And John says the best part of pickleball? Anyone can play.
002. There are plenty of places to play. It's free once you buy all the equipment, and there's plenty of people who will teach you how to do it. 431. It usually starts out recreationally for most people, and then it turns into an addiction.
it's good enjoyment, good relaxation, good therapy coming out here and coping with situations and relaxation. It's peaceful, it's quiet, it's nice.
In the summertime, it's nice and cool down here. About 8 o'clock, starts getting warm.
Go ahead. Commissioners Court has reconvened into regular open session. It is 12:09 p.m. We are on item number 13A. Discuss and take appropriate action regarding pending litigation styled United States versus Texas, number 2450149, County Attorney's File number 016523PL.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. Anna Schumacher, Assistant County Attorney. We're not requesting any action at this time. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you.
Item number 13A, no action. And that completes all the items on our agenda, Judge.
You sure, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you, everybody. Translators. We'll let you off the hook, Commissioners, real quick.
Thank you.
Travel safely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, production team.
This concludes today's meeting at 12:10 p.m.